Oh my gosh, it's a new tertiary event with new badges, it's time to play it! Okay, so I was at school, right, and I saw a new game mode pop up. Naturally, during my lunch break I had to try it. New results and world records were flooding in. Like, I saw Deep 4am, Forts, Mayos, Kaboozled Pie, and Stickman Comic achieve world record results. Well, since I was at school, I didn't have my keyboard on me because, well, I was at school, right, so I had to play on my laptop keyboard, so I played a game and hit number 6 on the leaderboards, which was cool. But then I had an exam to attend, so I had to leave those thoughts about the new game mode behind and focus on my exam until I had arrived home. So yeah, I broke the world record by over 10 seconds with a mix of SDPC DPC loop and Jigsaw DPC loop. I'll leave a link to all my videos covering these techniques down in the description since they're still very good for Blitz and Ultra. I'll give a quick overview on how DPC works. So once you complete a perfect clear after 8 lines from a fresh bag, you'll be left with 1 piece. With that extra piece, you can do a T-spin setup and then complete the loop after 14 lines, which will bring you back to a fresh bag. I saved my time as number 1 on the leaderboards and went to sleep. Today was a good day. A new game mechanic was added to the game while I was asleep, called Regret. This mechanic heavily punished doing too many of the same sorts of line clears in the same columns. This meant that some methods that were viable for Blitz that took advantage of a well were completely killed off. The classic 5-bag loops also took a huge hit, such as BT and DT loops. The thing that took the biggest hit, however, was perfect clears. The rule set was changed so that doing more than 2 PCs in any given run would completely kill your score multiplier. This completely ruled out DPC looping of any kind. The top of the leaderboards were chaotic, but eventually came down to a cat and mouse chase of Doremi and Reviclia fighting for the number 1 spot, with Rivi ending up on top with the first time under 1 minute. Osk had finally held control over his new game mode at last, finally encouraging what he considered to be original and creative gameplay. Or so he thought. After having fallen out of the top 100 from not playing, I came across this little sequence of messages. Torchlight and SMDVS had been trying out a strat of doing SDPC and DPC, except never actually taking the PC. The result of this is this abomination of a run, as seen here. And you get the idea. After this record hit the leaderboards at number 5, this encouraged multiple other people to try the strat. Most notably, QL hit number 2 on the leaderboards with a more refined version, incorporating his expertise in submarine DPC as well. Well, understandably, people weren't very happy about this. Like, this wasn't the way the game mode was meant to be played. This completely violates the last line of the description of this game mode, which says, "Originality is rewarded, so go and steal the show." But we don't care. Eventually, Swing messaged me with this idea which said, "Wait, you know that extended stick spin thing which takes exactly 2 bags to set up a quad well? Why not open with that and then just do PC loops on top of that and not worry about accidentally taking PCs?" For the people that don't know, extended stick spin refers to this 2-bag setup which essentially builds a well for you and loads up back to back. Not that back to back actually matters in 5 Million Blast, but in this case I was just using it as a way to avoid any PCs possible. This ended up in a run that went like this. Despite everyone's efforts to suppress the power of looping, it came to the point where more than half of the top 10 were using loops as a means to reach these high-ranking scores. Some people were especially creative in their endeavors to continue looping, despite the PC nerf. A prime example being Stickman Comics' opening. Watch this, your mind will be blown. Quite remarkably, communism came up with a 5-bag loop that introduced a lot of weird features such as 180 kicks, T-spin minis, and T-spin zeros in an attempt to counteract the regret system, and this paid off with the number 3 player using this in their run as a means of getting started. There is a hard drop wiki article on this which you should read up on. To reward originality, there were some other options that could have been used, such as making the game into a big brain all-spin contest, or rejecting 7-bag altogether, just like Spirit Drop did. Shout out to Spirit Drop, by the way. But to be fair, making a rule for originality is really difficult. I think how Orange Juice phrased this conveys what happened really well. To quote verbatim, I guess it's technically true that looping wasn't optimal for 5 million Blast, but looping is so much faster and easier. So Garbosk tried and essentially failed to beat the system, or more like, they failed to make a system that can't be beaten, actually. Alright, so you may ask now, what's the moral of the story?
DPC is the work of the devil. All hail DPC.
Oh! 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 Oh my god!
Where the f do I wake up every time on this game? Shut the f up.
You know what? This was not worth it. Oh my god! Wait, never mind.